Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Global Partners Monday Night Webinar. My name is Paula Pritchard. For those of you that I've never met, welcome to our call. I'm very excited to be hosting the call tonight because I have a special guest, and many of you are aware of this particular person because she's done some amazing things in our business. She's an emerald in Jeunesse. She travels the world, and I'm very fortunate because a lot of the times when she's traveling where I'm traveling, and we get to have fun and experience wonderful cities and restaurants. And I can't tell you how proud I am of what she's accomplished, but also, you know, I just adore her. I think she's a fantastic networker and an unbelievable person. So tonight, our special guest is Kerry Dean. Kerry, welcome to the call.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to this.
All right. A lot of people, I don't know if they realize this, you live in Burlington, Canada. You're a Canadian.
Yes, a lot of people don't realize that. And actually, I was in Greece just recently, and he introduced me as from the USA, so I took that proudly. But I am a Canadian.
Well, we would adopt you in a minute. But you have an incredible background, and you know, when people are starting to build a business and they try to think, who should I contact, or you know, who would I want to involve with me, partner up with? Sometimes they look at different professions and they say, oh, they probably wouldn't be interested, or they probably wouldn't be interested. But you know, tell people a little bit about yourself, because I think your background has really added to your expertise in this kind of a business.
Well, I didn't come from a business background as far as my education was. I was a nurse. I worked in critical care and emergency room. And if you can imagine, that's a very reactive job. You know, you're always reacting to what comes through the doors. You're reacting to the patient that you have before you. One of the things that helped me to do was to make decisions very quickly. You know, in the emergency room, you don't have time to think things over, or I'll get back to you in 2 days. You know, you have to make a decision now and what you're going to do. And I have been involved in other small businesses because of my marriage. My husband was involved in small businesses, so we had a lot of small businesses, and he was entrepreneurial. So I was in business that way. My dad was in business, but I never really had my own business until I was in network marketing. That's my first real experience from a business point of view. But I love that with network marketing, you can become involved with a very small investment, and you can turn that very small investment financial. It's a bigger investment of time in the beginning, but financially it's a small investment, and you can make that into a huge profit.
Did you start network marketing part-time when
Yes.
you were still an urgent care nurse?
Yes, I did. I started it after my husband died, because I wanted to be at home more with my children. So I got involved with Mary Kay Cosmetics, which was more of direct sales. I didn't know the difference, you know, because I hadn't been in this kind of a business before. To me, it looked fun. It seemed safe. You know, I could go out and meet people. I did learn a lot, but I did keep on part-time with my nursing, and that enabled me to control my own hours better, so that I was at home with my children. It was really important for me to be at home as much as I could, and I saw this kind of a home-based business as a vehicle to do that. But to be honest, I was kind of snobby, and I thought, you know, it was more for people who couldn't get a real job, and I didn't tell anybody I was involved for 6 months because I was embarrassed. And so, as you can imagine, I didn't do very well my first 6 months. But once I started to feel pride and see what women were accomplishing with it, and I felt proud of them and proud to be part of that, I was able to turn that around, and I did very well in that business.
You know, Kerry, that reminds me so much of my early days when my family would say, well, when are you going to get a real job? You know, it's like this wasn't a real job. Now it's become such an amazing profession. But
Yes.
you know, I think that, you know, when I look at you as an urgent care nurse, I think to myself, as I look back on my own career, that some of the most successful people came from, the nursing business, the teaching business, because they already had this maternal kind of, wanting to care for people, really caring for other people, sometimes more than they care for themselves. And this is a business where if you care enough for enough people and help them succeed, you never have to worry about yourself. But how was that? How was that experience? That first network company for you? How was it? Did it take you a while to succeed, or?
Well, once I started telling people I was actually involved, it went quicker for sure. But that was key. It did. I do think part of it, coming from that kind of a background, nurses and teachers, and I think being a woman, women are natural communicators. We always share and talk about things we like. So that part came naturally to me as a woman. I think people in those kind of professions, they want to help, and so I was always looking at my business as a way to help myself, absolutely, but help others. And so I think that fit in. I do believe my nursing career made me a better network marketer. I believe it made me a better mother. Would I still want to be doing it? Absolutely not. And I do feel in retrospect I probably have helped in network marketing a lot more people than I ever helped in nursing, because you have a bigger base, a bigger spread. But my husband used to say, how was your day? And I would say, well, nobody died today, because I was in areas where they were critical. And so a good day was nobody died. So in network marketing, a bad day, somebody said no. So it's not really a big deal if you put it into perspective of what's out there and what a lot of people do. I think a lot of people in not just nursing and teachers, but also firefighters and police officers and all of those kind of people who have a kind of a trade where they're helping others, I think they fit well into network marketing.
I hope what people can see or perceive from you and I talking is, one of the things I think that comes across is you have such a great sense of humor. And, besides the fact that you care about people, you really want them to succeed, I think your commitment to them and your commitment to what you're doing just kind of shines through more than your commitment to your own making money or your own success. And I think sometimes people get in a business like this and they're so concentrating on their own success or their own money that they never have that connection with their people. It's almost like they become another boss in that person's life. Mm-hmm. Whereas, people want to work with people they care about, and they want to work with people who care about them, but they also want to work with people that they have fun with. And I could see, even in your Mary Kay, where people would join, you'd laugh a lot, you'd make mistakes, you'd laugh a lot, some people succeed, and everybody get excited about everybody else. Is that kind of what I'm describing?
It was like that. We had a lot of fun. I think the thing about caring about other people, my mom always told me, treat people the way you want to be treated. And Mary Kay, a big part of Mary Kay Cosmetics was live by the golden rule. And so I think you can tell a lot about people. I feel I can tell a lot about people, how they treat wait staff in a restaurant, how they treat, that kind of thing tells you a lot about a person. And so I always try to think, how would I want to be treated? If this was my child in this job, how would I want somebody to speak to them? And so I think that's important, that you treat people with respect and that you like people. I think you have to like people to be in network marketing. I had a neighbor, and I talked to her, and she told me, I don't really like people. And I said, what do you like? And she said, I like dogs. And I said, well, you'd probably be better being a dog walker than a network marketer. And she did. That's what she's doing. So she became a dog walker, and she doesn't like the owners of any of the dogs, but she likes the dogs. So, it isn't for absolutely everybody. Just because somebody's breeding doesn't mean they'll be good at network marketing. But I think liking people and being respectful towards people. But I do have a kind of a philosophy: if it's not fun, I'm not doing it. So I try to have fun in everything I do, and that makes a difference, because a lot of people do join your business because they're not having fun in their jobs at work. One of the things I can never say about my nursing job was that it was fun. The job itself wasn't fun. I got to be close with a lot of the staff and the doctors and the other nurses, and we had good relationships and we had fun times, but the job was never fun. And network marketing is pretty fun. You get to travel, you get to meet great people, I'm a foodie, you get to go to great restaurants. There's so many fun things about it, and you get to win, you get to be on stage, you get to wear a crown, whatever it is in the company you're in. Those are things we don't get in everyday life. And even the compliments, the rewards, the recognition. Most people never get a pat on the back at work. They never get any recognition, and recognition is something big here in network marketing that we do and we get, and it makes you thrive.
I think that's a really good point, Kerry. I'm glad you brought it up because, people need to feel some kind of self-worth. And, if they can come be a part of a business where they feel that they're cared about, that they're worthy, that somebody, gets excited about their accomplishment instead of jealous like in the corporate world,
yeah,
where they feel that, they can laugh a lot and have fun. People join people they like. And I hope the message comes across to the audience listening to this, that the emotional part of building a business, because, there's an emotional side. I did a training on that, but, we're so busy looking at the business side and trying to give the right direction. We forget what it's like on the emotional side and understanding the journey someone makes from an emotional direction. And that's something I think you probably got that faster than you got the money side of the business, or the business side of the business.
I think too, that sometimes there's an advantage to being older because you've experienced more in life. And I've had some rough times in life, and there's a lot of people going through rough times. So I get a lot of people that talk to me, who are widows or who are single moms or who have lost their homes or have lost things, and so they see this as a vehicle that they can change that they can, spend more time with their children. I think, one of the things you teach is that we are problem solvers for a lot of people. And so being able to recognize the problem, but also to not judge it, to not, have a judgment about how you ended up that way doesn't really matter, but now we have a vehicle to help you change it. And I think that's people feel open, and it's a beautiful part of network marketing that most people, if they're just looking at the business aspect, they don't see the huge opportunity there is to truly make a difference in someone's lives. And the financial part may not be the difference they need. The financial part may be a small part of it, but if one person is making $2,000 a month, that might be just exactly what they need to make. And that sometimes, we have a tendency to judge and think, well, the only successful people are the ones who are making the huge incomes. And that's not true. The success is if they're achieving what they wanted to get in network marketing. And I just feel it's so unique because there's not many opportunities out there that I know of where you can get the kind of that success for women and for men. The first companies I was with were all for women, and I always joke that then I discovered men like to make money too. So it's we have a bigger, everybody can be your customer in something like Jeunesse. So it's such a big opportunity. And in Jeunesse particularly because we're in so many countries. So it's not just that everybody can be your customer, it's just that there's worldwide opportunities.
Kerry, when you're a little bit like me in the fact that, when you join your first company, it's not like you're on the search to pick certain companies. It's just the one that was provided, the one you related to, or the people you connected with. I think that says a lot for most people in their first networking experience. But now that you've been in it and you've had a chance to understand from a business point and evaluate other companies, what was it about Jeunesse that you think that gives us such an edge?
Well, the first couple of companies I was with were breakaway plans, and there's a lot of companies out there that are breakaway plans. I was talking to somebody with a from a phone company, where the one where they say, all you have to do is turn on the lights. Well, he was a brother and sister, and he said, I asked what position he was, and he told me, and I asked what position she was, and she told me they were the same position. So I said, who recruited who? And he said, I recruited her. And I said, oh, that must have hurt. And he said it was brutal. He said, he lost all his income by helping her advance. And so one of the things that was important to me is I wanted to be in a company that is not a breakaway system, that you don't judge how fast somebody can go, and if you're behind, somebody can still pass you. And we just click our heels on the way to the bank. So that was really important to me. I also liked Jeunesse because I felt I had an opportunity to be in a company. The time we joined 2 years ago, it was solid. So I felt it would be here long term, because I'm old enough. I don't want to have to start again somewhere else. So I'm old enough that I want a company that I feel will be here long term. And so it was solid, but also it was new enough that it hadn't hit momentum. And because of the sales numbers they had, when we joined, they were at 256, and their goal was to hit the 460 million. And I can remember thinking, oh my gosh, that's such a huge number. How would a company ever do that? And they're saying that, and if we say that, then we don't do it. And because the company I had been with was like, they were always going backwards. So but their trajectory of doubling every year, I felt there was a true chance of being in a company as they were going into momentum, and I was very excited about that.
Kerry, explain what the difference of momentum, what a difference it makes. I've worked with a company not momentum. I've worked with a company in momentum. There's a big difference.
Yeah, and for me, this is my first chance to work with a company in momentum. I was in Mary Kay. I joined in 1989. They went into momentum in 1979. I was in Melaleuca. I joined in 2002. They went into momentum in 1992. And so most of those and they had all been in being, companies running for 15, 20 years before they hit momentum. And momentum is a time of sales growth. It isn't a pie in the sky thing. It's a sales thing. They have to do so many sales. They have to be on a trajectory. They have to be attracting people. So I always joked. I always called myself the 10-year too late person. I always got in the companies 10 years after momentum. And it's interesting, because those companies that I knew that had gone into momentum, and especially Melaleuca, all of the people that were there in 1992 when they went into momentum are still the top people in that company. It has not changed since 1992. They're all still the number one, the number two, the number four, the number six. They're all still the top people. And even in Mary Kay, even though it was 1979, those teams are still the top teams. And so that tells you a lot, because momentum means that the growth is happening so quickly under you. It kind of builds a push of its own and has a character of its own. And you're pushed up. And it's exciting, because all of a sudden you have all these new people and you don't know who they are. But you have to be in the game. Momentum can happen in a company, and if you're just watching it, it's not going to affect you. But I always had that dream of being part of it. So to me, this is very exciting, because I do believe I can feel the starting of it in Europe. I believe that it's going to starting. I don't believe it started here in the U.S. yet. I do believe it's going to be starting. I think, if you think about just numbers, there's 300 million people in the U.S. So it's taking longer. It's like the big pot is starting. But I think we're at the right place at the right time. I do think they're probably in momentum, finishing momentum maybe in Asia. I'm not sure about that. But for me, building in North America, building in Europe at this time is like a dream come true.
That's really good what you're saying, because it does make a difference. There's no question about that. And I think if it reminds me of Teresa, the person that introduced me, saying that this was her Google, and it's kind of like I was mentioning that I think today about being I was mentioning it with somebody I was talking to about being in the garage with Stephen Jobs when they're trying to put the Apple computer together. Mm-hmm. It really is that kind of timing. to be involved with this particular business right now. There's no question about that. And
I just want to add, we did have that. They did have that $460 million, and I've been in 2 years. And then they said they were going to hit the billion, and it was like mind-boggling to me that a company would even make that commitment publicly. And then but they did it, and so now I can see as it's spreading. And we have, I think the products are cutting edge. And I think the compensation plan is cutting edge. But I think the vision they have is really a leading edge. That's what I would call it. They're beyond their time, and it's exciting to be part of that. It would be more exciting if I was a diamond. But I intend to be. But I can see that coming. I can see in my own team that coming.
If people can listen to what you're saying about the caring about people and being sensitive to people and understanding and caring about their goals and things, and then understanding the momentum aspect and the timing of this, one of the things too I want them to understand, you not only talk about how great this business is and the kind of lifestyle and freedoms, but you also talk about the Global Partners Group, because that's kind of a recruiting tool for you as well. Maybe tell people how you use that.
It's a huge recruiting tool because, as Jeunesse, the word Jeunesse gets out and people, see Auntie and the Instantly Ageless and Jeunesse, and there's a lot of teams out there. So I want them to know why it's important to join our team. And so I talk about the Global Partners Group because I think that's something we have. I believe we're a force. Like we are, the Global Partners Group is a force. One of the things everybody has to remember is it's not just the founders. Every single person in our team is part of the Global Partners Group. So we can all feed off each other's success. So if one person is having success, we can talk about their success. And it doesn't have to be our own success. It's everybody's success working together. But I also believe because and it comes, I think, from the top down, we really do care about our people's success. And that's what's missing in most network marketing teams, regardless of the company. And even in Jeunesse, I've seen that, because I've heard that complaint. Can I switch and join your team? And, unfortunately, we have to say, no, you're where you are. But that's something we have to offer, is that we have a team that's focused on their success. And if they want it, that's the other part. Some people do join your business because they want to hang out. They don't really want to work. But for those who want to have somebody help them, there's help there. And I think that's different with the Global Partners Group. The fact also, too, I do mention that we looked at other companies. So that when we were looking at companies, why we love this one. And so I can point out, the integrity of the owners. And I often say to people, is working with people of integrity important to you? And almost everybody says yes. A lot of times I'll say, in the workplace how sometimes some people don't have the integrity that you would like, and everybody says yes to that one. So I like to bring in the integrity of the owners. And Wendy Lewis being nominated as one of the most influential women for 2 years in a row by the DSA, who's really an important body for anybody in network marketing. To me, that shows her integrity, because they don't nominate people who are not of integrity. And then Meredith has come from that same group, and now she's so they choose exceptional people. They are exceptional people. They choose exceptional people from the company background, and I like that. And so for Global Partners, I feel we have the same thing. We have people of integrity. We have people that you'd be proud to work with, and so I use that a lot.
For people who don't know, Meredith is the president of North America. But an interesting factoid is that she was the one who presented Scott Lewis with the Rising Star Award for the company that year that we won it. I think it was the third year, I think. And
I didn't know that.
I know it's kind of come full circle, but we do get a lot of requests. I want to join Global Partners. I have to tell you, within Global Partners, we get a lot of requests. I want to be on Kerry's coaching calls because she's so good. And I think that you just care so much about your people that you do these calls to try to help give them tips or help to make them accountable, to help them succeed, because you care so much.
I think a lot of
I
times,
just think that's great.
yeah, I think a lot of times people just aren't sure what to do. And, we come from a world of having a boss. And so I really make it clear that I'm not the boss. But as a coach, a good coach, if you're coaching any athlete, they need a good coach. Every great athlete has a good coach. And so I tell them to look at themselves as the athlete, and you have the skills, and I'm just kind of telling you what to repeat over and over again. And in this business, it's pretty easy, really, because every day the question should be, who can I get to executive? So on our team, we talk about that a lot. Everything's built on executive. So every day that's who can I get to executive? Who can I help get to executive today? And so basically that's all I'm coaching. I think the nice part of the coaching is that they form a team of people who are at the same level. So everybody on my coaching call, if it's pearls, they're all pearls. So they all have the same goal. They're all cheering each other on. They form deep friendships. And I think that's one of the things that's nice about the coaching.
That's probably the major advantage is the bonding and the relationship, because they can become more of a family. Speaking of families, a lot of people don't realize this, but you have 4 children.
Yes.
And you're one of 4 children yourself, right?
Yes.
You have 3 other sisters.
Yes.
And you have a father who's 85, who's still alive. I want people to get a feel for the lifestyle of this business, because you have the freedom, not only tell everybody where you've traveled just this year alone, but you have the freedom to spend time with your father, with your sisters, with your children, or take more. And then you've taken the children with you on some of these trips. It's amazing. Because if anybody who loves to travel, they're going to love to hear this.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that I think network marketing I have a big belief that if you're going to spend money, you may as well spend it on who you love, your family, because if you don't spend it, you're going to have to pay it in taxes. So in network marketing, we make a lot of money, and in Canada, we pay a lot of taxes. So, you can. I like to spend the time with my family. I like to see their reactions of seeing things, and I like to join together. My kids have all turned out to be young. Yeah, they're adults now, and so they're all people that I admire and respect and enjoy their company. And I always joke that I taught them to say what they think, and I didn't care what, they could to express themselves honestly, and to say what they think, even if it isn't what I think. And now sometimes I wish they'd shut up because they do say what they think, whether I want to hear it or not. But I enjoy their time, their company, and I have 2 grandchildren who I adore. So, for instance, in 2 weeks, I'm taking my grandchild. She's 12, to Florida for a couple weeks, and we're going to stay with my sister. And so we do a lot of family things, but I can do work from down there. So my granddaughter, who's 12, she said, okay, Grandma, when are you working? And I said, okay, I'm going to be working in the mornings. And I gave her the times. And she said, okay, so I'll be in the pool. So can you do that beside the pool? Yes, I can. So, she has and when she was little, she used to joke that her grandma, all she did was talk on the phone and go to parties, and she made lots of money doing that. So, so they see that, you can be successful working from home. Some people think if you're working from home, you're in your pajamas all day and you're, unshaven, if whatever. But it's really not like that. It's just a different vehicle.
But you took your daughter-in-law to Rome, didn't you?
Yes,
no, to France. You took your daughter-in-law to Paris.
I took my daughter-in-law to Paris. I took my daughter the year before to the big trip in Cancun that we won. My daughter came there, Amy.
That's right.
I took my daughter-in-law to Paris. I took my daughter and my son to Rome. I took all of them to Orlando last year. I usually try to, if it's possible, if they can work it in their schedules. I know this year Expo is the Canadian Thanksgiving, so we're going to go down as a family before, and we're renting a house, so I'll work in Thanksgiving to Expo, to the Ruby Retreat, or to the retreat.
But you just got back from Greece? You just got back from Cyprus?
Yes, and I had it's wonderful to have, be able to travel like this, because I never had that opportunity before.
And you just got back from a Mediterranean cruise?
Yes, and that's one of the things I love about Jeunesse, is the trips they offer, everybody can win. So
you just earned this amazing trip to Maui, Hawaii that you're going to be going on in January, right?
Yes, Yes, I've won that, so I'm
Five-star
really.
resort,
I'm,
Waldorf Astoria.
I know. And traveling is I know is mind-boggling. And one of the things that this company does is provide. They provide. You go to nice places and it's been fun. So I love that about it.
If there's anything you can say as we close here, I'd like people to understand that it's one thing to build it, but urgency is so critical. If you could just tell them one or two key things that would make them want to put an urgency on it. I mean, I don't want this opportunity to pass anyone by because the timing is so perfect.
I think the most important word is right now for everybody should be now. What can I do now? Because I think we have a tendency to think this will last, this momentum will last. And I think it's important, what can I do now? The faster you can get engaged, the faster you can move yourself up, the longer you're going to be able to enjoy all the freedoms, the money, all the things that come with the success. So the slower you take, like I always think, why would you go slow and be broke longer? And I've asked my team that you must like being broke because you stay there, and it's not necessary because you have a vehicle to remove that. And we do provide health, we do provide wealth. Both are so important, but it's a combination. But there's also the fun and all of the things that go with it. So to me, the most important word is now. And one of the things I do in my coaching group, they have to write now all over their office, now. And what can I do now? What can I do today? What can I do now? And now it's the most important word.
That's great. Oh my gosh, I thought I had that turned off. I apologize. Kerry, you have been just the greatest. I've really enjoyed talking to you, and I hope everyone got some real value out of this message, out of this interview. So with that, everybody, I hope you not only listen to this over and over, but share it with other people and let them get inspired, because she is very inspiring. Kerry, thank you so much.
Have a great week. Do it now.
Do it now.
Bye-bye.
All right. Bye, everybody.